Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are chocolate waffles. And these waffles are delicious. I would hope that you would give them a try because they're well worth the time and the effort to make them. And what I do is I make quite a few ahead of time, wrap them well, seal them in a nice Ziploc bag or airtight container, and I freeze them. And then you can put them in your toaster oven or your toaster or that kind of thing, and they are really good, and it's nice to have them just at the ready. So let's get started. First, let's talk about our dry ingredients, and I would suggest to sift 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2.5 cups, and that's what I have already in my bowl sifted. What you're also going to be doing is sifting with the flour, but I'm not going to do that right now. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of baking powder. That was 1 tablespoon, okay? Now, I no longer give the recipe of ingredients below the video. I'm sorry about that, but I'll explain that in a little bit, why I don't do that. The next thing you're going to be putting in is 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Again, just a reminder, when you have your strainer or your sifter out, you're going to put all this together and sift it, okay? The next thing that you'll want to put in, of course, is because we have to make them chocolate. So you need 2.5 tablespoons of unsweetened baking cocoa, okay? That was 2.5 tablespoons, okay? All right, and then let me just dry off my whisk there for a second here, because I'm gonna use it both ways. I'm just going to whisk it in, and then of course you need to sweeten it, so you're going to be putting in 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar. Okay. And I've just mixed that in with my whisk, and then set the dry aside for the moment. Meanwhile, you do want to have your waffle iron hot and greased well, whatever kind of maker you have, whether it's a Belgium or regular or round or the square waffles. You're going to need milk, and you're going to need 1.5 cups of milk, and you will be separating 2 eggs. You're going to take 2 yolks, and you're going to beat them as light and fluffy as you can get them. I've already done them ahead of time, and you'll want it to create sort of a pale yellow color. Now, once the 2 egg yolks are beaten, then put them right into your milk. Let me get all of that out, because I just hate to waste ingredients. Okay? And just combine that together. You got your whisk out anyway, so just beat it together till the milk becomes really kind of bubbly and frothy together. And then again, it turns a very pale yellow color and liquid. All right. Okay. Now, once you do that, you're going to stir in 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and just beat that in. 1/2 teaspoon. Okay. It really is a little bit time consuming, because I'm going to explain about the egg whites, the 2 egg whites in a moment here. Okay. Now we're going to reach for our dry ingredients, and we're also going to put in this mixture 4 tablespoons of your choice, either melted butter that's been cooled or your choice of oil. 4 tablespoons. So you decide whether you're going to put in your choice of oil or 4 tablespoons of melted butter that's been cooled. So you pick. And then now we're just going to slowly start mixing in the liquid with the dry. I'm going to try to do a little at a time. Now you can use your hand mixer if you feel that that's what you want to do. You certainly don't have to do this by hand as I am. Okay. And just start mixing that in. It's going to get more of a thicker batter, so don't be surprised at that, okay? It's going to become, you know, heavy. Not that these waffles are going to become dense and heavy, but you know, you're going to see more of a, you know, like, well, you feel like you're all, you know, you're mixing cake batter in other words, because it's, you know, it's heavy at this time and it's dense. So just spend the time and, you know, get that liquid mixed in, and it will start to thin it out. Okay. That's the rest of the liquid and the egg mixture and all those other great ingredients. Okay. And then I think I'm just going to kind of turn to my whisk right now and keep some air in that batter and bring it together. You will smell that chocolate chocolate smell, that wonderful flavor of chocolate. Okay. And you know, you're going to get out relatively all the bumps and lumps, not all of them, because you don't want to overwork this batter either, but you do want to combine it. Now, I also want to tell you that if you want the waffles to look a little bit richer or darker, and I know a lot of people how they feel about food coloring. You don't like it for whatever reason, I respect that. But if you want to add a little bit of color, I take red and yellow, and I put usually about 4 drops of red, a couple drops of yellow, and you know, you can judge by the color. If you want it to look a little richer, you want it to look more that someone will say, oh, I'm eating a chocolate waffle, you know, or oh, I thought the waffle was burned or something, because you know, it doesn't have that real chocolate color to it. So that's going to be up to you. It's not going to change you know, the texture or the performance or the taste of the waffle, but it'll be up to you. So leave it in, put it in, leave it out, whatever. Now, I took the 2 egg whites and I beat them, and you can see that I used my whisk, and you can use your hand mixer, but I do beat them so nice and fluffy. I don't know if you can see that. I actually can turn my bowl upside down and nothing comes out, okay? So I want to try to keep the air in that. So let me set that aside. And then what we're going to do is we're going to combine, but this is the one part you might say, oh, I really like this recipe till she got to this part, because once you have this, you're going to stop. You're going to put a clean towel, kitchen towel over it, and you're going to wait for 1 hour. And it really is well worth that hour, because it's going to give that baking powder a chance to become active and sitting with the flour and everything else. They have a better rise to them. They're just better tasting. They're better looking across the board. So again, do everything up until this. Put a towel on it. Wait 1 hour. After the hour is up, you've already got your egg whites beaten, because you separated them. You did your yolks already. Now this is the 2. After the hour is up, then you're going to put these beautiful egg whites into and fold in the mixture. But the only reason you might say, well, why is she doing that? Because it hasn't been an hour. Well, it's just so that I can show you to do that, okay? But I always wait my hour, and you know what? It's really well worth it. And I just put a little in at a time and just try to fold it in. you want to mix it in, but you don't want to take a lot of the air out of it. You want those egg whites to keep everything fluffy and airy. Okay, and I'm going to put the rest of them in. You can see how nicely they are beaten. Lots of nice air. And then just bring that into your mixture. And you know, this might take you a few minutes. It might take you 3 minutes. Maybe it'll take you 5 minutes. It really depends. Because you do want to make sure they're well mixed, but you don't want to, again, overbeat it. You want to keep it as light and airy as you can. But you do want to mix it or fold it. Perhaps I should say fold instead of mix. All right, so then you'll be ready with your batter. Now, I have some already that, you know, of course, rested for the hour, and then I put the egg whites in. So I prefer to show you that one to make a waffle, okay? And I've got my waffle maker on. I already have it oiled, so it's ready to go, and it's hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to just put, oh, this is, by the way, let me show you this real quick. This is the finished. It's a very silky, light, oh, what a great smell with the chocolate, and especially when they're in the maker and they're baking for you, they're cooking up. Okay, and we're going to put that in. And you know, however large your maker is, you kind of know how much to put in so that you don't put too much batter in. This was over a half a cup, but I don't measure. It's just you get to really know your maker and how much to put in. And then, you know, follow the directions as far as how long it takes, that kind of thing. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. While that's cooking, then I want to show you one that I have made up ahead of time. But I want to rinse my hands quickly, because I was handling raw eggs. Just going to give that a little bit of squeeze to keep that heat in there and that steam. Here is one that is that has been baked up ahead of time, and I took it out a while ago. So you know, as a waffle sits a little bit, it becomes more softened. It isn't quite as crisp when it first comes out of the maker. Okay, you will have a very crispy top. You will have a very crispy bottom with these waffles, and I'm going to show you in a moment or two with this one the difference when it comes out. Okay, now again, these are great for freezing, so, and they're also nice for ice cream. Make ice cream sandwiches out there. Eat them plain, put your syrup on them. You can put chocolate syrup on them if you want, some powdered sugar, however you want to garnish them. Okay, now I just want to go through, while we're waiting for the maker here, is to give you the reason why the recipe won't be below the video. Is that I always tell people, if you try this recipe and you like it, well, leave a comment, because I like to hear from you, and that is the truth. But what's been happening, and I'm not alone on it, that's for sure, people take your work, they bring it to other places, they post it, they pin it, they do whatever, claim it as theirs. People write to me, I see my work somewhere where it doesn't belong, but they don't, you know, own it, and I can't answer your questions. I can't answer or thank you for the time that you took to write to me. It's very frustrating, and it's just not worth it for me to do that. So again, I'm sorry I don't do that anymore. Okay, now this one is ready to come out, so it's nice and hot. I just want to grab my fork here. It probably could even be used even just a minute or two more. I'm wondering now, at this point, I want to tell you if you notice the difference in color. And you might think, oh, well, maybe, you know, she just baked it longer or left it in her maker longer. And no, I didn't. What it was I just put that little bit of food coloring into it, and I don't know whether or not if you can see it or it'll matter to you, but again, it really does give that look that, wow, they're chocolate. You know, this is lighter in color. It's not going to affect the taste or anything, but to look at it, when I make them like this, people and folks, my friends that have had them, right away they go, oh, we're having chocolate waffles. So there is something about with the color, but again, that's up to you. Okay, now let's well, no, let's break into one to show you. Okay, it's going to have a nice fluffy center when you it's light, but it's fluffy as well. They're not really dense or heavy or that you might think they are, but they spring right back when I press on them. You know, so they really are delicious chocolate waffles that, well, other than waiting that hour for them, that's just the hardest part in this recipe. But everything else, it'll come together, and I really think once you try these, or and others of your family or whatever have tried them, I think you'll use the recipe. I think you'll use it again and again. Okay, so again, I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake, and just a reminder, please watch me solely on YouTube, because that's the only place that I put my video and my work on. And you know, if you're so inclined and you want to subscribe to the channel or give me a like, that would be fantastic. And also, if you have a question or comment, I will answer you in a timely fashion. So again, it bears repeating. Thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake. Stay well, stay safe, and I'll see you soon.